Retired MMA artist Chael Sonnen is known for speaking his mind, or dare I say, trash talking, and he didn't pass up the opportunity to give in his 2 cents when Tyson Fury called on Francis Ngannou for a match. In fact, he called it the dumbest idea in sports history. What's got him so fired up? Well, he hasn't exactly built up a reputation for his opinions for nothing. Fury's expressed his interest in Ngannou multiple times in the past, stating that the fight didn't even have to be a straight-up boxing match. And now that the Predator is out of his contract with the UFC, Fury's once again brought up the offer. He called him out to face him if he wanted to earn some big boy money. He isn't the only one calling on the Cameroonian either. He has competition with other heavyweights, such as Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, who are also in line, even though Ngannou's the most powerful puncher in UFC history.
New undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Francis the Predator!
With Dana White even stating that getting hit by Ngannou's punch was like being slammed by a Ford Escort. Fury's no less either. The Gypsy King has a perfect 33-0-1 record, 33 wins and 1 draw, and is the reigning WBC and ring heavyweight champion.
Continues to whip those punches in, and Victor Lachlan says that's enough. It's not before time. Derek Chisora is beaten by Tyson Fury.
With that resume, a potential fight would no doubt be well anticipated. Even though Ngannou has an imposing record in mixed martial arts, he has zero experience whatsoever in boxing.
From Dillian Whyte.
But besides the fact that it'll be between 2 outstanding fighters, it sounds more or less like a typical fight, right? So what made Sonnen say it was a stupid idea? Well, it was more about the conditions of the fight than the bout itself. As talks for the fight against Alexander Usyk kept dragging on, Fury laid out the conditions for a Tyson vs Ngannou match, which included 4-ounce gloves rather than the typical 10-ounce, a cage rather than a ring, and what you could call the most bizarre of them all, Mike Tyson as a guest referee. Sonnen obviously was not a fan, and he made sure everyone knew that by commenting on it on his YouTube channel. He called it begging and questioned why Fury had resorted so down low for a fight in a made-up sport. Now, maybe he's taking this whole thing too seriously, because Fury initially set out these terms with a playful smile on his face. But Sonnen was relentless, saying it was surprising to watch him beg for it. It was even somewhat disappointing, although he preferred not to call it that. The UFC superstar even went so far as to suggest that it could be a sign that Fury isn't confident enough, and that he wasn't sure he'd be able to get a promoter willing to back his crazy hybrid fight idea. He said that Fury knows it's a dumb idea, but he'd also be up for it if somebody's willing to write a check, which he doesn't think anyone would, because then why wouldn't he pitch the idea to the promoter instead of just casually throwing it out there? He made it ridiculous enough that if it fails, he can just as easily say he was kidding. That's not all he had to say. Sonnen left no stone unturned in criticizing Fury's idea. The 45-year-old sure didn't hold back, like he ever does. Sonnen slammed Fury's offer even further. He made some references to make it clear how outlandish he thought the rules of the fight were. He thought this whole suggestion was the 6'9" giant's way of preventing embarrassment should things fall through. It was like a guy wanting to ask a girl on a date, but being too scared of being rejected to say it clearly. But seeing a guy like Fury do it, someone in that position in command who's reached a point in his career to have the connections to make it happen, he should have already arranged it behind the scenes. It was just weird. He said it was uncalled for since Fury doesn't generally talk so stupidly. Whoa! I mean, if I were Fury, I'd be furious. Not gonna lie. The guy's just openly hurling insults at him. He also mentioned that it was like a stunt, and that he was dragging it out with all the terms and conditions instead of making it simple. Because then, if it works out, they'd actually have to move on with the plan. He wasn't the only one with criticism to offer. Tony Bellew had something to say about the fight too, except that Bellew favored Fury rather than Ngannou. That's not an unpopular opinion. Like, come on. Contrary to what Sonnen might believe, Tyson Fury has a huge reputation in the world of boxing. He's the 2-time world heavyweight champion and has yet to lose a single fight.
Even than we hoped. Better. Wow. Sensational. A minute 10 into round number 11.
Who would know it would go like this?
So it makes sense that the former boxing world champion Tony Bellew prefers to side with him in a potential match. He thinks stepping into the ring with Fury would be bad news for Ngannou.
Champion of the world, Tyson Fury!
Even though he's considered the scariest heavyweight to ever compete in the UFC, that puts Fury on such a high pedestal.
And leave these big openings.
Knockdown for Ngannou. Stipe back to his feet, eats another uppercut. Nice counter right from Manchester. Who's knocked down and out? Francis Ngannou.
Replying to a poll on Twitter asking fans whether they would like to see Fury versus Ngannou in Bellator, PFL, boxing, or BKFC, he said that Ngannou wouldn't survive in a boxing ring against anyone of any note. For now, Fury's the best MMA heavyweight in the world, and the Predator needed to stay within his area of expertise.
Top with the right hand. Does Blade's recovery still wobbly on his feet? Mark Goddard's taking a closer look. Ngannou's powering in. Oh, this is bad news.
That's it. Francis Ngannou.
Now, this is all talk, just fighters spewing their opinions on the possibility of a match. So, when can we get to see the two face off in the ring? You'll have to wait for now. For the time being, no formal discussions have started between them. But here comes the good news. It's more of a matter of when, and not if, fans will get to see the two heavyweight titans clash in the ring. For now, Fury's booked. He's currently in negotiations for a match against IBF, WBA, WBO, IBO, and ring champion Alexander Usyk. The Ukrainian boxer is just brushed off after back-to-back victories over former British champion Anthony Joshua.
Do you believe this? Yes, I believe it. Yes, I believe it.
It's gonna be the ultimate showdown, and the highly anticipated fight is being scheduled sometime in 2023, crowning the winner the undisputed world heavyweight champion. But since the discussions keep dragging out, the Manchester native has his eyes set on the former heavyweight champion as his next opponent. Fury said that even though the negotiations for the Usyk fight were going really well, nothing had been settled yet, and if nothing gets finalized about the fight of the century, he'll move on to the Ngannou match. Whether it's going to be in Las Vegas or Wembley, we'll know quite soon, I think. But what does Ngannou think about the whole situation? Well, the pair have had a face-off in the ring before. The Predator had been sitting on the sidelines to watch the Gypsy King's victory over Dylan White at Wembley Stadium last year, and stepped into the ring with him right after. And now, the 36-year-old monster is still eager to fight Fury following his abrupt release from the UFC. Based on his recent comments made to Ariel Helwani, he's ready to take him on, and he has no problem doing it on his proposed terms. He also mentioned that Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua would be his first ideal opponent, even though the entire world of MMA is still recovering after his exit from the UFC. With his reputation, he's already got a long line of opponents ready to take him on. So if Fury wants to get a shot at him, he'd better do it fast before someone else grabs him up. That's all from my side about the potential Fury versus Ngannou fight. See you in the next video.